Hey everyone! Today we're looking at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Knightfall Batman. So looking at this figure in the box, already impressed with this. At first I was kind of apprehensive of buying this figure. I wasn't convinced by the production stills of the figure, but now having it in front of me, I'm really excited as to what I'm going to get into here. So as far as accessories is concerned, he comes with, it looks like, 2 gripping hands, a batarang, standard DC Multiverse trading card, and then our standard DC Multiverse stand down there. But, you know, other than that, side of the box, looking nice. Batman Knightfall, you know, standard DC Multiverse packaging here. On the back, we got a really cool image, which, if I'm not mistaken, is, I think it's from Legend of the Dark Knight. I could be wrong. I'm not entirely sure. And then on the right side of the box, we have Batman, DC Multiverse, and we also have this, like, scannable code for, I guess, a digital comic. I'm not entirely sure. I don't ever really use these, so... But yeah, let's go ahead and crack this figure open and see if it is the definitive Batman or not. Spoiler alert, I'm already thinking it could be, but we're gonna see here. We're gonna see what we got. All right, we got Batman out of the box here, and I think I'm starting to understand what everyone's talking about now that I have this figure out of the box. This dude, I think this is it, guys. Yeah, I'm starting to really understand it now. I think this is the definitive Batman figure to have in the DC Multiverse line. Paint, sculpt, articulation, all three just absolutely knock it out of the park. Overall presentation is just there. The depiction of Batman that they went with, the classic, you know, gray and blue with the yellow oval logo. I mean, you just can't top this, I don't think. This is, again, the definitive Batman in the DC Multiverse line. So let's go ahead and get started and knock out the accessories. So as far as accessories are concerned, he does come with his lovely DC Multiverse stand down here at the bottom, standard with all of our DC Multiverse figures. Then he also comes with a great trading card, as they all do. Great image here. And then on the look on the back, we get a description of the character, really nice. You can pause here if you want to read this. And then he comes with 2 fisted hands already on the figure, as you can see. And then in the box, he comes with 2 grip hands on the side. So that's really nice. So the gripping hands there. You can use this on the Batmobile if you do have the DC Multiverse Flash movie Batmobile. Sorry, I had a brain fart there for a second. This also, you know, works on the Batman Bat Cycle and the multiple Bat Cycles that we have. You can always get these to kind of, you know, grip on the handlebars there. And then he also comes with a really nice blue batarang, which looks really good, really well sculpted. So that's nice. But yeah, getting into the actual figure. Again, just absolutely knocking it out. So let's go ahead and get started. Sculpt. First of all, let's take a look at this head sculpt here. This is one of the best Batman's head sculpts that we've gotten in this line. I am absolutely over the moon with it. I think it looks really, really good. My only complaint, and really it's more my problem than it is with the figures, is whenever I see this version of Batman, I kind of like the black shadowing on the face, and they didn't add it here, but they did it on purpose because they have released recently a version of this figure with the black shadowing throughout over the blue and on the mask. And that probably is the definitive version, like over this one. I don't own that one, but I would imagine that if I did, I probably would like that one a little bit more just because I like that black shadowing on the blue. But having this one, I'm not complaining. Like, I am really, really happy with this. Just going through the whole body, a really great sculpt. One thing that I am noticing now is, in a previous review, I think it was for the Jay Garrick Flash figure, I mentioned that in that review, there was some really nice texturing on the suit, and maybe I would have liked to see that here a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it would have made the figure a little too busy and distracted from, like, the simple approach that this costume and this design brings. Maybe a little texturing would be nice, because there really isn't any texturing on the suit here, but it is nice to see that, you know, it is clearly a fabric suit. Like, it does stretch over the muscles, so that is really nice. And then the paint is really well done. No real shadowing on any of the gray. Could have used maybe a little wash. Again, I like as much detail as possible, so that's why I mentioned that. But I mean, as you can see in the with the lighting that I have, you know, the light catches those muscles and you can see it pretty clearly. So I think, you know, the sculpt really helps where the shadowing lacks, you know. But with that said, if it had a wash over it as well, it probably would have knocked it, you know, out of the park. But still, again, I think this is a really, really great sculpt. The cape sculpt here is also really, really nice. I love that it's this light fabric. It is very flexible. It's not as constricting and as heavy as previous capes, so I really appreciate that. That's really nice. But yeah, just the sculpt is really, really good. And again, paint is immaculate on this figure. Could use a wash, but again, I'm always going to say that for most of my figures because I like all that extra detail. But overall, I am very, very satisfied. Getting into the articulation real quick, it is really, you know, your standard DC multiverse articulation. Going ahead and getting in here, the legs go out, you know, pretty wide. If I can get the cape out of the way and get the ankles to without knocking over the, wow, there it is, the whole set. Oh, no, now there's the whole set. There it is. Okay, I'm trying one more time, this time without knocking over the entire set. Ah, there I go already. Here we go. Here we go. Did I get it? It's this dang cape that's getting in the way, but okay, the lowest I can get without the cape getting in the way. There it is. So at the lowest that I can get without the cape not getting in the way, it's not that far down, but if it wasn't for that cape, I could, you know, the articulation does allow for good movement there. So there is that. And then he kicks up really far, kicks down, or kicks back pretty far, double jointed knees, ankle articulation, ankle pivot, goes up and down, toe articulation. Then he also has a really good ab crunch, goes back, goes up, or goes down, you know, decently far. Not as far as you'd see in other figures, but pretty good. Then it goes side to side pretty nicely, so that's good. Excuse me, shoulders that go 360, kind of loose over here, but nothing so far that's causing anything to, you know, fall over or not stay posed the way I want it to, but I could see with some age that becoming an issue. And then double jointed arms, good horizontal and vertical. Not, you know, it's really one movement, but you can just rotate the peg for the fist to get, you know, whatever movement you need out of it. And then you have a neck that looks up quite, you know, a decent bit. Yeah, pretty good bit, actually. And then looks down pretty good. And then you can always, you know, utilize that ab articulation to, you know, get that more head looking down. But overall, pretty standard. You can hear my cat in the background. Pretty standard DC multiverse articulation. All right, moving into some size comparison here. To start, let's show this Knightfall Batman here compared to our Tim Drake Robin. So these guys are about the same height. You know, not accurate to the comics, to most comics at least. However, I will say, I remember having issues of the Robin comic, specifically the ones, let me actually pull the box out. Here it is. Specifically this cover right here. If you know what I'm talking about. I had this comic as a kid, and I remember just thinking that Robin was like a 35-year-old man at the time, just because of the receding hairline in that image and just his size. I always assumed he was an older guy. I mean, I come to learn as I got older and started, you know, really reading the comics that I was very much wrong, that he was a teenager. But honestly, I don't know if I hate this. You know, I was raised in the period of Chris O'Donnell being Robin. And, you know, as bad as those movies are, I kind of have a soft spot for him. And I don't know if I have an issue with my Robin being roughly the same size as Batman. I mean, Batman is bigger, like he is a bulkier figure for sure, but being the same height, this works for me. Honestly, this works for me. But, you know, to see that, that's pretty cool. And then to compare this Knightfall Batman to two other quote-unquote definitive Batman, we have the Rebirth Batman right here, looking really nice. And then we also have our Hush Batman here, looking great. And as you can see, the Hush Batman is the biggest of all three of these Batmen here. Knightfall and Rebirth Batman look to be at just about the same height. So this is pretty nice, you know, looking at these all next to each other. If you have any one of these, you own a definitive version of Batman. Honestly, you own a really good version of Batman if you have any one of these three figures. In my opinion, I still really like this Rebirth Batman quite a bit. But overall, I think all three are really good depictions, and anybody, you know, if you own any one of these, you own a really good depiction. And finally, let's compare Batman here to two other characters from the Knightfall line. We have, not Knightfall line, but the Knightfall storyline. We have our classic Catwoman here, and I think these two figures really look cool next to each other, just, you know, because of the design of the outfits that they have. These really do work really well together. And then to the left of him, this isn't the traditional design that this character had for the 90s Knightfall comic book line, but it is the only version I have. Here we have Azrael here. I believe this is from the Batman, not the White Knight, but the sequel. I think it's The Last Knight. I cannot remember the name of the sequel, but the sequel of Batman White Knight. And as you can see, these are really well scaled next to each other. If you have the traditional costume version of Azrael, I'm sure these would all look super cool next to each other. Even just with the red version of the suit, I think this is really cool. I don't own the Jean-Paul Vallée Batman figure. I really wish I did. I will be looking to get that figure one day soon. But until then, I think these three really next to each other, these three are really cool. And honestly, if you're a fan of the Knightfall storyline, a must get. All right, I got him here in a cool high kick pose, and I have to say again, I'm just very impressed with this figure. This is a really nice Batman figure. Honestly, the more I mess with this figure, the more I realize, yeah, this is it. This is the definitive Batman figure. Again, if it had a black wall or that black paint over the mask and shading throughout the blue, it would take it over the top. But again, that is an actual release that we're getting. I can't remember what type of exclusive it is, but it is an exclusive figure, and that does come with, again, all that black shading all over the blue. And I mean, if you can get your hands on that figure is probably going to be, you know, on top of this one as the definitive version of Batman, specifically the Knightfall Batman. But if you can't get your hands on that figure like me, I could not. This is more than adequate. This is absolutely an incredible figure and an absolute, you know, no-brainer of a pickup for any Batman fan. If you see this guy, get him for sure. He is going to probably go for good money in the aftermarket. So, especially if the Brave and Bold movie takes, you know, some artistic design liberties and kind of pulls some of the inspiration from this, then, you know, even more it might be worth in the aftermarket. So definitely worth a pickup. But that'll, you know, wrap things up for me. I've had a really great time posing this figure, taking pictures of the figure, and I've had a great time hanging out with you guys. So remember to like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Remember to hit the notification button so you're notified every time I upload a video. And thanks as always, guys.